morning. I'm Sandy Walden from Serenity, your Master Grief Coach and Master Grief Coach trainer. This morning, I want to talk to you as the mom who lost her youngest son a little more than 10 years ago and a different layer of grief that showed up. So, some of you have noticed I've always got a mug around. I start out with coffee in the morning, and then I move on to water for most of the day. I rinse out my cup and keep the same one with me. It might seem really silly, and I've got a lot of coffee cups in my cabinet, like many, but the ones I use, the ones that are in my rotation, so to speak, are meaningful for me. I probably have five Donald Duck cups, mugs, whatever you'd like to call them, because when I was growing up, I was absolutely enchanted and delighted by Donald Duck. He's open about his enthusiasm and his excitement and his aggravation and frustration. I love that. Each of those mugs was given to me by someone. They're important to me. I had a mug in there that was similar to one I gave to a few very close friends a few years ago. Every time I used that mug, I thought about Joni and Jan and Terry. Meaningful to me. Another one was hand crafted, I'm not sure the right language to use, one that was created by an amazing artist. And I think about the friend that connected me to that artist whenever I use that. And if you've ever watched my videos or seen my pictures, you've seen me with this mug. This mug was Mikey's. He had mostly hand me down or Goodwill mugs because he totally loved them. And this was one that he had in his cabinet. Whenever I use this mug, it makes me think about Mike, and it's just absolutely delight. He wore cowboy hats and cowboy boots all the time. They were in the rotation with his work boots and his sneakers and his baseball cap. He was a huge John Wayne fan. Apparently, my other sons are as well. He even had a tapestry of John Wayne hanging in his apartment when he lived on his own. So yesterday, this was the mug that I was using. It reminds me about his affection for all things cowboy. Um, it always just makes me feel close to Mike when I use it. So yesterday, I was getting ready to chat with a client, and I didn't feel like sitting here at my desk, so I got in a really comfy chair that I have in my office, and it's got very wide wooden arms. So I put my coaster on the arm and I put my mug on there, and then I reached for something. And when I did, I knocked my mug to the floor. It hit the carpet and the handle broke off. I'm not someone who gets teary easily, but holy cow, talk about hot tears filling your eyes immediately. Immediately. I felt like another connection had been severed and it hurt. Even thinking about this, I feel myself getting very red and very emotional. And that's okay. It's absolutely okay. It's natural and it's normal. Even all these years later, it's all right. Because I had this client call planned and I had a few minutes, I made an appointment with myself. It's okay if that sounds silly. I reminded myself that it's okay to feel attached to this thing that represents something for me. And I took a few long, slow breaths, set the mug aside, and gave myself permission to be completely focused on the woman I was going to work with, and told myself I would absolutely allow myself to feel what I felt when I got off the call. This is something I work with clients with all the time. Sometimes we can't feel everything we need to in the moment. And it gets easier to set something aside when we know we are going to tend to it. It's absolutely imperative that we tend to it. This let me work with my client. She deserved my full attention, and I was able to give it to her. When I hung up the phone, I turned around and saw the mug and the pieces, and I could feel the tears again. And this time I let them go. Went and talked to my husband, who's such a great guy, and he gathered up a piece that I missed, and told me that once this has had a day or two to dry, he'll glue it for me. I don't know if he'll be able to glue it back together and use the mug in the way I did before. I do know I can still use the mug. The handle is shattered. The body of the mug is not. This feels representative to me. And I know this has been long and rambling, and I apologize. It feels to me as though it's almost a metaphor of that grief. Mike's not here with me, and you're missing someone you love too. That relationship has changed. It's changed. It's not severed. It's might be broken for the time, but it's not gone. It's changed. We rebuild our connection in a different way. My connection to Mike is really, really strong. I might have to say goodbye to using the mug, but I never say goodbye to my son. I'm connected in a different way, and so are you. These things happen sometimes, and I ask you to give yourself permission wherever you are in your grief, whether your loss is hours or 37 years ago. Let yourself feel what you feel. It's okay. It's natural. It's normal. It's very human. Very human. Here I am, about 15 hours later. I feel much better. I'm still sad, but it's not the profound sadness that it was yesterday. My connection isn't in this mug. My connection is with my son, and it always will be. It always will be. And so is yours. And I just want to remind you that the things we have, whether it's a blanket, it's a shirt, it's the smelly pair of sneakers that's kept in the room, these things are connectors, but they are not the connection. They represent our connection, but they are not the connection itself, the bond, the love that we have with that person. That's within our heart. That's within our soul. Those memories are connectors. And those memories are a beautiful, beautiful thing. The only reason this mug meant anything to me is because of the memories it stirs up. So whether I'm able to use it again with the handle or keep it around in a different way, it's a connector, but it's not the connection. These things that remind us of the one we love. When something happens, let yourself be emotional. And then remind yourself that they are not your connection. They're things. We appreciate them. They're important to us. But your strongest connection is and always will be the love that you have for that person. For today, I wish you gentle healing and peace. Call up some memories that warm your heart and feel that connection. Namaste.